Dear students, this is the e-learning platform of Cambridge International School, the SUA. I am Kamaljeet Sharma, PGT Accountancy, teaching accountancy to the students for grade 11th and 12th in Cambridge International School. And this session is for the subject of accountancy for grade 11th commerce. Let's recap. Students, as you know, we have started chapter number 8, that is journal, from your book Double Entry Bookkeeping by T.S. Garewal. In this chapter, you will have learned about the formation of journal entries. Today, we will learn about few more journal entries. I hope this session would help you to understand this chapter. Today, we will continue with our chapter number 8, that is journal. Before starting the journal entries, let us revise the rules to form a journal entry. All the traditional rules and modern rules which we have studied in the chapter number 6. These rules are very much important while formation of students. The accounts are classified on two bases, that is traditional approach and modern approach. We have learned about the traditional approach. Traditional approach is also called English approach, whereas modern approach is also called American approach. In traditional approach, there are broadly two types of account, personal account and impersonal account. Personal accounts are further classified into natural personal accounts, artificial personal accounts, and representative personal accounts. Whereas impersonal accounts are further classified into real accounts and nominal accounts. Personal account, as the name appears, related with person. So natural person's account, for example, Ram account, Sham account, Sita, Geeta, Ina, Meena, these all are natural personal accounts. Artificial personal accounts are those which are non-living beings, not living beings, but we have some names for the establishments. For example, ICICI Bank, Cambridge International School, say Gupta Cloth Emporium, say Pizza Hut, Domino's, all these establishments which carry a name but non-living beings. That's why they are called artificial personal accounts. Representative personal accounts are those which represents a group or an item. For example, outstanding expenses like salaries outstanding, prepaid expenses like prepaid insurance, accrued incomes like accrued commission or accrued interest, unearned incomes like advance commission. Whereas impersonal accounts which do not have any relation with any person, these are classified into real account. Real means actually. So all assets lies under the category of real account. Nominal accounts, as the name appears, nominal, which means it is nothing. But for our convenience, we have given them some names. For example, all the expenses, losses, incomes and gains lies under the category of nominal account. So for the purpose of balancing the accounts or preparation of accounts or for journal entries, all these we have used these traditional approach accounts in the form of personal, real or nominal account. Whereas in the modern approach, we'll be using types of accounts in the name of assets account, liability account, capital account, revenue account, or expenses account. We have categorized into these five accounts. Let us revise the traditional approach. The rule for personal account is debit the receiver and credit the giver. The rule for real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. And the rule for nominal account is debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Now we will start the modern approach. We have identified or categorized the total accounts in five categories: assets, liabilities, capital, revenue, and expenses. First of all, we have to identify the accounts involved in the transaction, whether it is asset or a liability or a capital or a revenue or expense. Let us discuss assets. Assets. If there is any increase in the asset of the organization given in that transaction, the increase in asset will be debited, whereas decrease in the assets will be credited. Now comes the liability. If the value of liabilities increases, it will be credited. And if the value of liabilities decreases, it will be debited. Now comes the capital. If the capital of the proprietor increases in the business, if the balance of the capital increases in the business, it must be credited. And if the capital decreases, it must be debited. Now comes the revenue. Now what is revenue? Revenue is the amount received from the sale of goods and services. So if there is any increase in revenue, it should be credited, or if there is decrease in the revenue, it should be debited. Now comes the expenses. Expenses are the amount spent to generate the revenue. So if there is any increase in the expenses of the organization, these expenses are debited. And if there is any decrease in the expenses, it should be credited. Students, now we will learn the formation of journal entries. There are three simple steps to be followed for recording a journal entry. The step one is simply identify the accounts involved in the transaction. Then the second step is judge the nature of accounts involved, whether it is a personal, a real, or a nominal account. The step 3, that is analyze the effect, then apply the rule and form a journal entry. Let us take an example. For example, cash received from Ram rupees 9,000. In this transaction, there are two accounts involved. One is cash, another is Ram. Cash, being an asset, comes under the category of real account. Ram is a natural person, comes under the category of personal account. Now, in the first step, we have identified the accounts involved. That is, cash and Ram are the two accounts involved in the transaction. After that, in the second step, we judge the nature of these accounts involved. The cash is an asset, so it comes under the category of real account, whereas Ram is a natural person, comes under the category of personal account. Now we'll move to step number 3. In the step number 3, we have to analyze the effect. So it is very much clear from the transaction that cash is coming into the business. So cash comes into the business, whereas Ram is the giver. Means Ram gives the money to the business. So after analyzing the effect, we have to apply the rule. So as per traditional approach, the rule for a real account is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Here cash comes into the business, so cash must be debited. And as per the personal account rule, it is debit the receiver and credit the giver. So here Ram is giver to the business, so Ram must be credited. So we will check the first step and the last step, that is third step. So here cash is debited, Ram is credited. So follow these simple steps to form a journal entry. Now we will try few more transactions to journalize. A shed was constructed for office building costing rupees 40,000 and payment was made by check. Because shed is a part of the building, so here building account will be debited, not the shed account. Building is a real account, it must be debited, and payment is made by bank, it means our banker is making the payment, so bank account will be credited as per credit the giver rule of personal account. So here the entry for transaction number 51 would be building account debit to bank account. Employed Nisha as a cashier and received 18,000 from her security deposits. Security deposit is being a secured amount received from an employee. It is a liability for the business. So here we will record cash as debit amount and security deposit as a loan amount, increase in liability. Or you can write as cash account debit to security deposit from Nisha. Next is 53, transaction number 53, paid office expenses 100 from personal cash and stationery expenses rupees 200 from office cash. So we will write office expenses account debit to capital account, because this 100 rupees is paid by the proprietor from his personal cash, and stationery expenses are paid from the business cash. So stationery expenses account debit to cash account. Transaction number 54, purchased goods for rupees 50,000 from Manish and supplied it to John for 60,000. It means costing rupees 50,000, goods purchased from Manish. This is a separate transaction. Entry for this transaction, this part of the transaction is purchases account debit to Manish 50,000. Then we sold these goods to John for rupees 60,000. It means we have making the profit of 20% on cost. Calculate 50,000 into 20% is equal to 10,000. It means we are adding 10,000 profit to the cost and supplied these goods to John. So entry would be John account debit to sales account. Out of this, John returned goods of rupees 18,000, which in turn were returned to Manish. John returned goods to us and we in turn returned the goods to Manish. So there will be 4 journal entries for this transaction number 54. First entry is purchases to Manish. Then next is John to sales. Then third entry would be sales return to John 18,000. And after that we will return these goods to Manish. So Manish account debit to purchase return. Now we are making 20% profit. So out of this 18,000 there is 20% profit which is already included in it. So we will calculate, let the cost of goods is x plus 20% of x is equals to 18,000. The value of x would be 15,000. So 15,000 goods costing rupees 15,000 were returned to Manish. So we will write Manish account debit to purchase returns 15,000. Then the next transaction is sold goods to Amit of list price 5,000, trade discount 20% and cash discount 5%. Sold goods to Amit of the list price. List price is the price printed on the product, and for 5,000 into 20%, that is 1,000 rupees is the trade discount, and we will not record the trade discount anywhere in the journal entry. So we will treat the 4,000 as a transaction amount for 5,000 minus 1,000 of trade discount. So 4,000 into 5% cash discount. 4,000 into 5% will be 200. So cash account debit, discount allowed debit to sales account. No need to write Amit anywhere because we have receiving the cash of rupees 3,800 and we are allowing the discount of rupees 200 to the purchaser. So entry would be cash account debit 3,800, discount allowed account debit 200, that is 5% of 4,000, and to sales account 4,000. Next, transaction number 656 is supplied goods costing rupees 2,000 to Y, issued invoice. Invoice means goods when sold on credit, then the bill is called invoice. 10% above cost and less 2% trade discount. So first of all, we will add 10% to 2,000. So 2,000 plus 10% will come 2,200 less 2% discount, trade discount, and we will not record the trade discount. The amount after deducting 2% will be the transaction amount. So entry would be Y account debit to sales account. Next is owner withdrew goods of rupees 700. So drawings account debit to purchases account. Next is goods given as charity to 2,200 and goods distributed as free sample 1,800. So charity account debit, free sample account debit to purchases account. We can write free samples as advertisement also. Next is in transaction number 59, goods lost by fire and theft. So loss by fire account debit, loss by theft account debit to purchases account. Loss by fire account debit 500, loss by theft account debit 100,000 to purchases account. Transaction number 60 is equals to goods sold for cash, that is 7,000 and collected 5% sales tax on it. Sales tax means here GST, goods and services tax. Now here we will write cash account debit to sales account to GST account. So entry would be cash account debit 7,350 rupees to sales account 7,000 rupees and to sales tax collected, or you can write GST 350 rupees here in this transaction. Transaction number 61 is purchase a cow for the business. Cow is an asset for the business, but we will not write cow account at debit. We will write here livestock account debit. Any livestock purchase for the business like horses for the stable, then chickens for the poultry farm, then cow for the dairy farm. All these are called livestock. So livestock account debit to cash account. Next is gave as charity. Charity rupees 150, machinery rupees 200 or 2,000 and goods worth rupees 250. These all are part of charity. So we will write charity being an expense of the business. Charity account debit to cash account, to machinery account, to purchases account. Then open a bank with SBI. So basically it is deposit the amount into the bank. So bank account debit to cash account. Then borrowed from bank means loan. We have taken a loan. So bank account debit to loan from bank, or you can write bank account debit to bank loan. Then paid railway freight on behalf of customer Nitin. So we will make the debtor Nitin. So Nitin account debit to cash account 800 rupees. Receive an order of goods for rupees 1 lakh from Sonu. Now, one important thing for this transaction number 66, we are receiving order here. No physical interaction, no physical transaction took place, only an order. There will be no journal entry in case of an order because the accrual or the cash transaction does not took place. Now, Sonu's order was executed. Now we will record this 1 lakh rupees as order in the next transaction. Sonu's order was executed. So it means Sonu account debit to sales account. And the second entry for cartage is cartage account debit to cash account. These two entries would be recorded separately. Then paid rupees 250 for subscribing newspapers. So 250 means newspapers account debit to cash account, or you can write journals account debit to cash account, or sundry expenses account debit to cash account. Any account whichever you like. Then receive 700 from the sale of old chair and table. So cash account debit to furniture bracket में in the brackets old account. Paid interest on loan, so interest on loan account debit to cash account. Goods stolen, rupees 2000 is the cost price, sale price is the 3000. We will not record the sale price anywhere. We will record rupees 2000 as goods lost. So loss by theft account debit to purchases account 2000 rupees. Paid income tax. Income tax is the personal expense of the proprietor. So it is drawings. Drawings account debit to cash account. Then rupees 500 due from Amrit are bad debts. So bad debt account debit to Amrit account. Being cash to X, paid cash to X on behalf of Z. So here we will write Z, not X. Z account debit to cash account. Then sold goods of rupees 2000 for 2400. So we will not consider 2000 anywhere. We will record 2400 cash to sales here. The entry for transaction number 51 is buildings account debit to bank account. Shed is not an account. Shed is a part of building. That's why building is debited. Then cash account debit to security deposit. Nisha is appointed as a cashier. So security deposit from an employee is a liability. So cash account debit to security deposit, credit the giver 18,000. Then for transaction number 53, first entry will be office expenses account debit to capital account, because these expenses are paid out of pocket by the proprietor. So it is personal cash. So office expenses to capital account. Whenever owner pays some personal cash for business expenses, this is a part of the capital. It means he has invested the capital into the business. So office expenses to capital account. Next is second part of this transaction is stationery account debit to cash, because stationery is purchased with the help of office cash. Then for transaction number 54, there are 4 entries. One is purchases to Manish. Goods were purchased from Manish 50,000. That is purchases to Manish. These are the cost of the goods, and these goods were sold to John for at a profit of 20%. So we will add 20% to this amount and sold the goods to John. So next entry for transaction number 54 would be John account debit to sales with an amount of rupees 60,000. Then John returned goods worth rupees 18,000. So we will record sales return account debit to John account 18,000. Now in this 18,000, 20% profit is included. So we will calculate like the cost of goods are X. X plus 20% of X is equals to 18,000. We will find the amount of X as 15,000. So it means originally the goods were purchased from Manish worth rupees 15,000, which were sold to John as 18,000, including the profit of 20%. So fourth entry for this transaction number 54 is Manish to purchase return 15,000. Next is goods worth rupees 5,000 and trade discount 20%. So we will deduct 20% from 5,000 comes to 4,000, and then we will record the cash discount. Cash discount is allowed in the journal entry, whereas trade discount will not be allowed in any case in the journal. So cash account debit 3,800 after allowing a discount of 5%, 200 rupees, and discount allowed being an expense must be debited here with rupees 200, and to sales account 4,000 rupees. Next, the transaction entry for transaction number 56 is Y's account debit to sales account. We will add 10% cost to 2,000. It comes to 2,200, and deduct the trade discount 2%. So amount comes to 2,156. So transaction entry for transaction number 56 is Y account debit to sales account 2,156. Next is drawings to purchases, being goods withdrawn by the proprietor for personal use 700. Now the goods were given as charity and free samples. You can write free sample as advertisement also. So charity account debit, free sample, or advertisement account debit to purchases account with the respective amounts. Next is goods worth rupees 100 and 1,000 were destroyed. It is lost by fire and lost by theft. So lost by fire account debit 500, lost by theft account debit 1,000, total comes to 1,500. Next is cash account debit to sales to output GST. When goods were sold with GST, it is called output GST. So 5% of 7,000 is 350. Total cash we have received 7,350, out of which sales amount is 7,000 and output GST is 350. Then purchase a cow for the business. Cow is a part of livestock. So livestock to cash account 20,000. Next is charity. We have given cash, machinery and stock in charity. So total amount would be debited with the charity. Charity account debit 2,400, to cash 150, to machinery 2,000, to stock 250. Transaction number 63 is bank account debit to cash account, because we open a bank with the SBI. It means we have ultimately deposited the cash into bank. So same transaction. Next is borrowed from bank. Borrowed means bank loan. So bank will not give loan in cash to any of the person. He will deposit that amount of loan into our bank account. So our bank is the receiver. So debit the receiver. Bank account debit to bank loan. Bank loan is a liability. It must be credited. Next is Nitin to cash, because the railway freight we have paid on behalf of Nitin is an expense of Nitin. So that's why we will make the debtor of Nitin. So debtors account debit means Nitin account debit to cash account. We assume that we had not paid the railway freight. We assume that we have paid cash to the Nitin rupees 800. Then next is order. There will be no journal entry for order, and you have to write like this: no journal entry for order. This is an important point. Next is Sonu account debit to sale account. In the previous entry, we have received an order, and in this transaction, we have been told as Sonu's order was executed. It means we sold the goods to Sonu. Then cartage paid in respect of this sale, it is an expense of our business. So cartage to cash 5,000 rupees. Then newspaper to cash, it is ordinary business expense 250 rupees. Then cash to furniture, old furniture. You can write chairs and tables also, but it is being a common head furniture, and you have to write in the bracket old. So 700 is the amount of the sale of old chairs and table. Then we have paid interest on loan. So interest on loan account debit to cash account, because no information is given whether the interest is paid in cash or by the check. So we will write cash here. Entry for transaction number 71 is loss by theft to purchases account, because goods were stolen by anyone. So purchases are the 2,000 rupees. It is always calculated at cost price, not sale price. Loss is always calculated at cost price, not the sale price. Then drawings to cash withdrawn by the proprietor 1,000. Then amount of rupees 500 due from Amrit is bad debt. Bad debt is an expense of the business. So bad debt account debit to Amrit account. Next is paid cash on behalf of Z. So Z is main person. So Z account debit to cash account 3,000 rupees. Next is last one is cash account debit to sales account 2,400 is the amount. In this session, we have learned about few more journal entries using the traditional approach to rules of debit and credit. I hope this will help you to understand the concept of the topic more easily. Now students, try to understand the basic concepts of this chapter once again, and try to solve some illustrations as well as unsolved questions from your book Double Entry Bookkeeping by T.S. Grewal. You can also try to solve some questions from NCERT, but all the questions to be done in your homework notebook. In the next session, we will continue our next topic. Till then, dear students, to stop the COVID-19, stay home. If you don't think about yourself, think about your loved ones. So stay home, please. But study regularly.